Babe, have you seen the stud finder?
The what?
The stud finder.
No, what's it look like?
It's yellow and square.
Yeah, I think I found it, honey. Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. Wait a second, that's not it. Welcome to another episode of Retro Alliance Gaming. There we go. I don't know why I said that so Jim Carrey-like. Maybe it's because I grew up doing nothing but watching Ace Ventura 2 When Nature Calls, which would probably explain a lot. What do you think, hon? Explain one or two things of my personality? Maybe one or two things. Anyway, so on today's episode, I'm very excited to talk about a package that I got. Now, I previously recorded this earlier, and it kind of messed up, and I actually...
You pretty much say this for everybody.
And I opened up the package, and... Yeah, so now I'm going to go ahead and restart. I received a package today, which I don't want to necessarily say their names in case they don't want it known. So let's just go ahead and hold it here and say from a very awesome gentleman by the name of Jody. Now, Jody is a wonderful person from a closed group on Facebook, which I'm going to get to in a minute. In order to talk about the package that I got, I need to start at a very small beginning and do some explaining. So, let's get right into it. See this beautiful system right here, the PC Engine, aka Turbo Grafx in America. This is a wonderful system. I've talked about it. I've done an unboxing of it. The thing is about the PC Engine and aka Turbo Grafx, it never got a following in America. Now, this was like a mix between an 8-bit and a 16-bit system. I personally always thought of it more like a 16-bit system because it's just incredibly impressive. The colors are phenomenal. The sprites are huge. The worlds are big. Everything about this system screams big. And it was just in some weird form between 8 and 16-bit. And unfortunately, while in America, the Super Nintendo, or the Nintendo actually at the time, the NES and the Sega Genesis, which were basically number one. That's not unfortunate. They were great systems, but they were number one, and this basically did not get a following. It actually didn't get any third-party support either. I mean, barely any. 90% of the games, or 95% that came out for the system, were developed by NEC themselves. I remember the first time I played this, I mentioned this before, there was a store I used to go to in Los Angeles. I would go in, you pay $5 per hour, and you get to pick a system. And I already had a Sega Genesis and an NES, and I remember seeing a Turbo Grafx sitting there, and I was like, what the hell is this thing? And I got it, and I remember playing Pac-Land and also playing Ninja Spirit, and I was blown away. I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life. Not to mention the fact that, I'm sorry, but even till this day, I love these cards. These, which they were called Hue cards, are just beautiful, and it's so futuristic. It's just like this little credit card you can carry around with you in your pocket instead of, carrying a big bulky cartridge. I mean, you got to think about this like back in the day, right? So you have an NES. Here you go. You go to your friend's house. You carry that big old NES, and you're carrying 5 cartridges. You got a bag full, right? Great system, but you got your bag full. Look at this thing. Seriously, even though the one in America was far bigger, because in America we had that bigger is better mentality, I guess, but this thing's tiny. I can literally carry this in my pocket, and then you could put 20 of these, 10 in your wallet, some in your back pocket, exchange it with friends. It was the coolest thing ever. Anyways, getting into it, and leading into what I'm going to talk about in my video, because this system was not as popular here, unfortunately, we didn't get as many games. So there's some games, some of my favorite games in the world that we didn't get, such as a game called Castlevania Rondo of Blood. I don't know what else to say about this game other than the fact that I played it and it is freaking amazing. Literally, everyone says Symphony of the Night is the best Castlevania, and I really, really enjoy Symphony of the Night. But when I played Rondo of Blood, something with that game, I don't know what it was, but it's just everything about it, the graphics, the way it looks, the just the level setup, the bit of exploration that you get with it without it being a full exploration like a Symphony of the Night. To me, it was one of the most beautiful and perfect games, and I just was blown away. Now, the thing is, again, since this system was not popular in America, it came and it went, and now all of these games are incredibly expensive, either because we didn't get them in America or we did, but it was in limited quantities. Now, all of my collection, everything behind me here, I got stuff to the left, I got 400 Atari games, I got a lot of stuff. I collect all original games to original hardware. I do not like playing on emulators. I'm not saying they're bad, to each their own, but that's just not my thing. Problem is, getting these games is really expensive. Okay, I've built up a Dreamcast collection of over 165 games, and I'm still working on it. And with Turbo Graphics, I have somewhere around the vicinity of, I would say, maybe 17 to 18 games. Now, these are all legit games, full blown, and I love them. And I'm going to continue to collect, but I found out about this group. Now, that's just what I'm going into. It's called Turbo Reproductions, and you can find them on Facebook. It is a closed group, so if you're really nice and send them a message, maybe they will let you join. And when I got on this group, it was a fantastic group. They talked about games and all the TurboGrafx stuff and just beautiful posts about pickups, everything you would want. And one very, very special thing, reproductions. Now, I had never heard of a reproduction game on a TurboGrafx ever. I didn't even know that was a thing. I did not know this existed. When I found out, I was like, holy shit! Like, I was so excited, right? So they actually made reproduction games. And this is what I want to go into. And I'm going to talk to you about the reason to get a reproduction game. And let's just start by going ahead and opening this package. Again, I apologize, it's pre-opened. So let's go ahead and start with my first, which is this. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm sorry. Castlevania Rondo of Blood. You see this, baby? Seriously, Jody, person who made this game, thank you so much for taking my money. I'm not even kidding you. I am so impressed, okay? Here's the front, and here's the back of this. This is very professionally done. I mean, even on the backside, you can see Super CD-ROM, Castlevania, Rondo of Blood. It is absolutely beautiful. Right when I took it out of the package, it just felt and looked so legit. And the thing about this game you got to understand is not only wasn't this game in English, so it had to be translated, which kind of technically makes it feel just like a production, because this is in English, versus the reproduction, because we didn't get any English. But that being said, the game costs like $500-600 complete, okay? And one day I would love to own that game, but there are some games that you just can't afford. I have Panzer Dragoon Saga. It's beautiful. It's one of my favorite RPGs of all time. I got it for $120. It's $600 now. And this is one thing I love about reproductions this way is, I couldn't afford the $600 or $5 or even $4 maybe that you can get for this, but I really wanted to play this game and I was able to get it. Now, a couple of things to point out. Let me open this up first. Here's the inside, okay? You got the disc. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you got a completely glossy finish on the disc. It's absolutely beautiful. Let me go ahead and pop this out. These discs are all professionally pressed. Now, with that, not pressed, excuse me. They're professional discs. They are not pressed. I know they're planning on doing that in the future, but they use a very, very good form of media for the disc and a high quality burner. And what that means is it's not going to hurt your disc. Now, your system, your laser. Now, there's an old wives' tale saying that no matter what you do, any burnt game is going to hurt your system. If you use really cheap media and a cheap burner, yes, I'm sure it will. But the way they make these, no, they do not. Not only is it beautiful and high quality, but again, they're burnt very well. They will not hurt your disc from what I was told. And I have played many of other games that were professional burnt discs that I've had zero problems. Sometimes your lasers just go out because they're old, and luckily they're cheap to replace. But this is absolutely beautiful. Another thing that I was really impressed on is the booklet. Let me pop this open for you guys. This booklet right here, very glossy paper, just very smooth and nice. It says right on the back here, thank you to everyone involved in translating this game in English. Okay, so that's another thing. Even if I did have the money to buy this game, I wouldn't be able to get it in English. So the fact that I get an English translation and I get to play the game, it's great. It's my personal collection, and I finally get a chance to play this, and it's so wonderful. Going through this book here, guys, it is impressive. I didn't expect this. I was thinking I was just gonna get a disc, maybe. I didn't know I was gonna get a book, but it has the prologue. Everything is translated to English in here. Every last little bit. And the part that I was really impressed with too, as I started getting into this, was when I got to the part where it showed all the characters, just their names, blood types, their ages, like all this stuff that I couldn't tell from looking up the Japanese one, and it is just beautiful. Honestly, it is just. I am blown away with the word. I mean, I just thank you so much, Jody, the Reproduction group, and everybody who helped to get this done. Very fair prices, $20. You cannot beat this, guys. If you don't have the money to pick up the $500 one and you want to buy a game, you know, go to the link below. I will have posted, and try to see if you can join Turbo Reproductions on Facebook. And they are some of the nicest people in the world, especially if you just pay attention to, you know, the main forum there, and Jody, who does the making. I know there's also people who do, I believe, moddings on your system. Now, next, this blew me away. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me here, okay? Kadash. I've been wanting this game forever, and I got it. Now, first, I want you to notice how adorable this case is. Look at this. It is absolutely just, I'm sorry, it's cute. It's the little tiny case. It has both front and back art. Perfect, right? Then you open it up, and this is what I love right here. Open it up, look at this. Jesus, look at that. This hue card is so impressive to me. It's perfect. The quality is very heavy. You can actually feel the weight of this. Here's the front of it, Kadash, all the way through, okay? And here's the notes on the back. It says, do not bend, drop, or subject to shock. Of course, keep away from static electricity. Please put back in case after you play. And one other thing I'm impressed with is they wrote down Turbo Reproduction on the back of it, as to not confuse people, maybe who are trying to buy the original. So, you know, they keep up with that, which is fantastic. If I were to compare this to an actual hue card, I'll pop this open real quick, guys. Give me just a second. Let's get Ninja Spirit out, okay? You can look at it, very, very, very similar, but you can still tell a difference. To be honest with you, this Reproduction actually feels higher quality than the original. You can tell that this is a labor of love these guys are putting into this, and I mean, I'm just grateful and thankful I'm able to get a game like this and play it. It's beyond words, guys. You can see right here the difference in sizes on both of them. Okay, very, very similar. I mean, really slightly off. You can see the thickness is almost dead on. I would say that the other one is just a little bit thicker, in my opinion. And then you can see the back of them. But yeah, these are all very similar. I mean, this one will probably fit really nicely right inside of your fold like this. Another one if you need to. See? Just like that. And you can slide it right in. Of course, the cases that they give you with it, adorable. You have the little area right here. And then you have a little soft spot to hold it down, make sure it doesn't go loose or get scratched. So, yeah, this is the package that I got in today, and this is absolutely wonderful. One thing I do want to talk about is there's some controversy based around the fact of reproductions. And that controversy is, if you look up on eBay, stuff like that, when they started making reproductions, people didn't want them to maybe say reproductions, or they made them look as similar as they can to the originals. Now, I get that, people want that, but then at the same time, this causes problems, because there are people, sadly, that will try to sell them as, you know, the real thing, which is completely absurd and terrible. And the thing that I want to point out is I want to point out the good about reproductions. First off, clearly you know this is a reproduction when you buy a disc. You can tell by the back of it. You can tell by the way that it's burnt. Obviously, this didn't come out in America, and obviously it is in English, okay? These guys go out of the way to give you something wonderful, but you can clearly tell that this is a reproduction, and it even says it directly on the back of the game, okay? These people aren't trying to scheme anybody or nothing like that, and the importance of this is many reasons. Not only the fact that some of these things just aren't affordable. Again, $500, even $1,000 for some games that were so rare. That used to be bargain bin games. No kidding, $20 bargain bin games that turn into, you know, this really expensive game later on. Another thing is, as systems are getting older, you know, and cartridges get older, you know, things start going out. A lot of components and stuff, and you know, eventually, having these kind of reproductions, it's basically salvaging all of our love for older games and keeping them new and fresh for all of us to have. And another part of it again is we get these Japanese to English translations, and people don't like to play them on maybe emulators on the computer. I'm one of those, and you can get a physical edition for your actual system to play. There are so many good things to having a reproduction, and again, it's amazing. They make sure to list them properly. Everything on here they show. So anyways, that's pretty much my video. If you guys have been looking in either my left or my right corner here, we'll see whichever one has more room. You will see gameplay. This will be gameplay of the actual games, showing you go through, and I'm also going to show you a close-up of these being turned on. Again, thank you so much, guys, all my subscribers or any of you out there that are watching, and thank you to Turbo Reproductions and to Jody. Thank you so very much for making these. You have made my entire week. I honestly cannot wait to jump on and start playing the living hell out of these games. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time.